Upon a time in the lively village of Ogbomoso, Nigeria, the annual Harvest Festival was a celebration of community, culture, and, of course, delicious food. This year, however, the festival committee decided to add an unexpected twist: the Drunken Dash, a race that promised to bring even more excitement to the occasion. The undisputed star of the event was Chuka, the village's most enthusiastic drinker, renowned for his ability to consume palm wine with seemingly endless capacity. The festival preparations were in full swing, and Chuka, already well into his cups, was confidently declaring his imminent victory. With each passing hour, his stories grew more elaborate, his dance moves more flamboyant, and his general coordination noticeably less reliable. By the time the race was set to begin, Chuka was merrily staggering through the village square, serenading anyone within earshot with out-of-tune renditions of old folk songs. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the race began. The village gathered, cheering and laughing as Chuka took his mark. Or rather, what he thought was his mark. In reality, he had confused the starting line with the food stalls and was happily helping himself to a plate of jollof rice. The actual race participants were already well on their way, but Chuka was still enthusiastically waving his arms and attempting to drum on an imaginary drum set. Finally, someone directed him to the actual start line. Chuka, with a grand flourish, set off on what he thought was a lightning-fast sprint. To the amusement of the crowd, his sprint resembled more of a wobbling, zigzagging dance. Chuka's attempts to stay on the path were futile, as he veered off course and stumbled into a nearby bush. Emerging from the foliage with twigs tangled in his hair, he declared himself the victor of the Great Bush Encounter. The villagers, who had long given up on the idea of Chuka winning the race in any conventional sense, began to enjoy his impromptu comedy show. They cheered as he continued his unsteady progress, which included an unexpected detour through the village's new yam farm. Chuka was convinced that the yams were actually giant, exotic fruits and began to pull them out of the ground with great enthusiasm. His efforts resulted in a spectacular mess of yams scattered everywhere, which only added to the hilarity. At one point, Chuka spotted a goat munching on some grass and, in his slightly inebriated state, thought it was his racing partner. He attempted to communicate with the goat, trying to convince it to run faster as he clumsily mimicked its bleats. The goat, however, was less than impressed and wandered off, leaving Chuka to chase after it while the crowd roared with laughter. As the race continued, Chuka managed to find his way back to the main path, albeit by taking a circuitous route through the village marketplace. He stumbled into the middle of a dance circle, where he joined in with exaggerated dance moves, much to the delight of the onlookers. His impromptu dance routine became a highlight of the evening, as he spun, twirled, and occasionally collided with festival decorations, all the while maintaining an air of royal dignity. Eventually, Chuka crossed the finish line, though not in any conventional sense. He emerged from behind a stack of palm wine barrels, wearing a makeshift crown made of yam leaves and clutching a bunch of bananas as though they were trophies. The villagers erupted in cheers and applause, celebrating not just the end of the race, but the unforgettable entertainment provided by their beloved Chuka. That night, the village gathered around the bonfire to recount the day's events. Chuka, now fully in the spirit of celebration, regaled everyone with exaggerated tales of his race, weaving stories of how he outwitted the goats and befriended the yams. The villagers, still chuckling, agreed that Chuka's antics were the highlight of the festival and declared him the true hero of the Drunken Dash. From that year on, the Drunken Dash became a cherished tradition in Ogbomoso. Chuka continued to be the star of the event, with his legendary performance growing more elaborate with each passing year. His escapades, though always slightly tipsy and wonderfully chaotic, were a testament to the village's spirit of fun and community. The Harvest Festival was never complete without Chuka's unforgettable race, and his tales of triumph, misadventure, and unintentional comedy became the stuff of local legend.